Sometimes you gotta ask yourself, what is more important to you, your ego or money? And many times our egos can get in the way of money. I can tell you, it's gotten in my way plenty of times over the years, where I care more about my ego than I care about money. And sometimes you just got to say, the hell with my ego, I'm going to worry about the money. And a good example of this is Tesla stock. Obviously, back in the day when I was buying my Tesla shares, I got them at disgustingly low prices, right? I saw a great opportunity in the market. I thought what I thought about the company, I would talk about all the time, and darn it, what I thought was going to happen happened. And the gains on the stocks is ridiculous. 1,600% gain, 1,900% gain, 1,800% gain, right? But at the end of the day, I even bought shares recently. I bought shares back in December. I bought shares in January, 145 shares there, 20 shares there. This makes my cost basis look far worse because I bought new shares. But at the end of the day, I said, the stock's undervalued now at this point in time, and I need to add shares of Tesla stock because it's a deal. It's a deal. And so, yeah, it made my cost basis look not as exciting. Now I'm only up 984% instead of being up 1,000 something percent like I would be if I never bought those Tesla shares. But guess what? My dollar amount's a lot bigger because now on those shares, I'm already up $21,000 on those shares I bought back in January. And I'm already up $2,600 on just those 20 shares I bought back in December, right? So that's something very, very important. And we look at a stock like Amazon. And this stock, I don't, at the end of the day, Amazon, anything under $150 a share is me buying. When Amazon goes over 150, it will just be a hold for me at that time. So at the end of the day, I'm looking at Amazon and I've been buying the stock and buying the stock and buying the stock and buying the stock non-stop, right? Week in, week out, pretty much almost like clockwork, just buying Amazon shares. Sometimes when it goes, really low, I would buy extra shares, right? Like this one's an extraordinarily big buy, about 235 shares here when stock was at $92.80. So sometimes I'm going to pick up a bigger amount of shares, but I've just been picking up shares of Amazon over and over again, including 200 shares here at 126. At the end of the day, when it comes to Amazon, any shares I can get that's less than $150 is, in my opinion, a great buy, a great buying opportunity. I've got to take advantage of that. And so when you're in the market, you have to decide, do you care more about this number or do you care more about this number? Because I could buy just a few shares of a stock and it goes up 1,000% and the percent looks amazing, right? But because I was so worried about the percentage gain, I forgot about, what really matters in the end, the dollar amount. Knowing at the end of the day, percentage gain is cool, but it's really cool when you got a big dollar amount behind it, right? And so that's just some food for thought out there that I think is very important. And coming from somebody like myself that has always had trouble buying a stock when I'm up on a stock, it's been always a very difficult decision, but it's a decision that has to be made, right? Right? And so you look at a stock like Meta. Meta's a stock I bought a million times over the years. Like the amount of Meta shares I bought over time is ridiculous. And over a very long period of time. And so I could have just worried about Meta in regards to like the percentage gain, which I could have played that game. But at the end of the day, I care a little bit more about the dollar amount gain when it comes to stock like Meta. And by the way, I'd be buying more Meta right now. What's the only reason that's keeping me from buying more Meta shares right now? The only reason I'm not buying more Meta shares right now, even though it's still stealing money, is because it is such a large position in the portfolio. It's $512,000 position in the public account. Public account's a $1.7 million portfolio. So there's a lot of other opportunities in the market outside of just Meta, and so I'm placing money in those at the moment. Doesn't mean I'm selling Meta or plan to sell Meta anytime soon. Meta would have to be like $400+ for me to even start to consider selling the stock. So we're a long way from that game. And that's even considering, I don't even know if I would sell if the stock was 400 today, which goes to show you kind of my belief in the stock and where I think it's going over the next few years, okay? Revolve stock. This is in the public account. We got 3,000 shares of Revolve right now. It's the e-commerce clothing company. Now, I know a lot of guys watch my channel, okay? I think, 85 to 90% of my viewers are men. And so some of you guys might never heard of Revolve, right? And you're like, God, I don't know, what is this Revolve? The majority of their customers are female customers who usually spend several $100s per basically checkout on Revolve. And this is their main website, revolve.com, right? Which is obviously extremely, extremely successful. And this is their other website that they have, I call it Forward, okay, FWRD. And this one caters more to some very exclusive high-end brands, where Revolve can have many other brands and even some, let's call it brands that aren't really super popular, that are much smaller brands and like boutique brands and whatnot, whereas Forward really has these massive, super luxury, I call it, brands, right? You know, you look at their bags, Bottega Veneta, Saint Laurent, Valentino, Bottega Veneta, Balenciaga, okay? Chanel, they got it all, okay? It's beautiful over there. Now, in terms of Forward, by the way, in my opinion, the next massive growth vector for Forward, if they can get in with Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton doesn't just own Louis Vuitton, they own many of the other most prestigious luxury brands out there. If Forward can get in with Louis Vuitton, you're talking about that's blow the doors off type opportunity there with Forward over time. So I'm hoping that happens. That would just be, oh my gosh, like I can't even explain how big that would be for RVLV stock if they can get in good with Louis Vuitton over time, and don't be surprised if it happens, okay? Now, in terms of this company over the last several years, we can see this on Seeking Alpha, right? This is their income statement over the years. In 2016, they did about $312 million of revenue. Very nice. Last year, they did $1.1 billion of revenue. Gross profit has gone from $145 million to nearly $600 million in gross profit last year. Operating income has gone from about $5.5 million of operating income to almost $80 million of operating income. And that's just since 2016. That's incredible numbers. That goes to show you the growth trajectory of a company like Revolve and how phenomenal they have done with this company, right? If we look at cash and cash equivalents for the company, $283 million in cash and cash equivalents. Total liabilities in the company is $231 million. And it's the most insane thing when you have some of these companies like a Palantir. And this is, folks, this is very few and far between. I'm telling you, of public companies, this is such a small segment of public companies that have a balance sheet this ridiculously good, that they have more in cash and cash equivalents than they do in total liabilities. It's insane. Even many of the biggest big tech companies in the world can't even say that. And that's saying a lot, because many of the biggest tech companies in the world have some of the most incredible balance sheets, but a lot of them can't even say they've got it that good. Now, keep in mind, Revolve's about a $1.2 billion market cap here today, 1.1, 1.2, somewhere around there. So the company has nearly $300 million in just cash sitting around. So the truth is, in my opinion, if I'm looking at this and I'm saying I'm going to buy the whole company, I'm basically paying about $900 million for the entire Revolve company. This is stealing money, in my opinion. Absolutely stealing money. This is a steal deal of a stock, okay? Now, when it comes to Revolve, the company trades at a forward P of, based upon 2024 numbers, of about 19. For a company that I believe is going to grow double digits revenue in 2024 and beyond, for as far out as I can see, for me to get it at this sort of valuation is a little laughable. I'll gladly take this, okay? The risk reward is ridiculous in this stock. Now, in terms of the gentlemen that lead this company, Mike and Michael, okay, and they've led this company for, literally, they co-founded it together, okay, and they both worked at this other company called Nextstrat. I guess they built a relationship, and then they had this vision for Revolve, and then they made it happen. And they've done a tremendous job leading the company. They've been a public company for many years now at this point in time, and they've obviously led the company for a long, long time, and they understand how to use influencers on Instagram and whatnot, and popular, females that they can use, to support their brands and their products and things like that. And so the gentlemen have done terrific building this company from nothing into a major player in the fashion industry. And I think they're going to be a much bigger player in 5 years from now than it is today. And so I'm just very, very pleased with Revolve. And I'm very pleased with that these gentlemen, they don't just understand e-commerce. They don't just understand fashion. They don't just understand influencer marketing, but they understand running a business. When I see the sort of gross profits this company's put up over time, the revenue growth this company's put up over time, when I see the balance sheet as pristine as it is, these gentlemen know a thing or two about running a very successful business. And I wouldn't want to compete with them. I would not want to compete with these gentlemen. They got their stuff together, okay? They got their stuff together. So I'm a very proud shareholder of this company. I think it's a tremendous buy. It is a stock I'm actively buying, and I probably will buy it all the way until the end of this year, to be quite frank. Do they meet all the criteria? Under $20 a share? Yep. Good balance sheet? Yep. Great needed business? Absolutely. Proven management team? Yes. And major long-term upside? Yes. Okay.